Hey, welcome to Beta List. We have Truckily with us from Kansas City with Derek Kean and Matt Berkland. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Not too bad. So you guys are kind of like 100 miles somewhere there down the road from me, so not too
Yeah.
shabby. So tell me a little bit about Truckily, where you got the idea from, and what it's your backgrounds, and yeah, go for it. So
Okay. Well, my background is in business management, finance, and marketing.
very cool.
I've worked with, big companies doing their marketing budgets mostly online, as well as working for corporate financial structures in Asia.
Wow.
Went to college in Bozeman, Montana for business management and entrepreneurship. Started my first business shortly after graduating, doing internet marketing for small businesses in Asia because it was a need over there at first. Got my first taste of the startup life working for a company called Frenzu
Cool.
and loved it. Had a great time, met some great people, and that kind of kept the momentum forward for joining back into the tech space
Very
once
nice.
I got back into Kansas City.
And what about
Uh,
you, Matt?
I'm the hardcore developer. I've been doing development since I was like 16. Worked for several different companies, done logistics software, telephony, scheduling in the real
Know your
estate
stuff.
distribution centers. I mean, all kinds of techy stuff.
Very
So
cool. And then, so Truckly, from what you were telling me before, is sort of like a location-based marketing tool for food trucks, right?
right.
So how did that all come about? I guess, like, why food trucks? Why, why help them out? And what's the story?
First off, we like food.
Yep.
So
None
that
wrong with that. I'm
and,
with you.
the other thing is, when we take lunch breaks, it's really just short. I don't want to sit down and have like a whole meal. So we would go to the trucks and try to find them. In Kansas City, there's a growing population of food trucks, and so we wanted to really help them out. There was no app covering our town at first.
Cool.
So we got to talking with them, became friends with a few of the guys, and started seeing that there was a disconnect. How did they reach the customers accurately, and how did the customers find them if they were in a new area,
Yeah.
or even if they're in their office? Like, how did they get alerted to when their truck's coming around? A lot of times you're not going to drive 10 miles to get food,
Yeah.
especially if you're working. So, being alerted to where they're at when they're near you, especially if you're a big fan of them, was really the first priority. And then we started talking to them, and that turned out to be something they'd like to see, especially in the Midwest, where there's a lot of people driving around. So that's really the genesis of where we started building Truckily from. We went to a startup weekend, built a prototype, kind of tested it around, went to the different trucks in town. They liked it, but it was very basic. It was just using Twitter. And then once we got enough validation from that, we started just building a whole tool of softwares, or a whole stack of tools we could use as a software service for them to be able to just dominate the whole marketing scene from the ground up.
Very cool. And that's mostly, I guess, online and just like iPhone apps, different things like that. I'm assuming, right?
Right, right. And it's all going to be one touch. So there's no input required. It's really just going to be as automated as possible. Save time. That's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah.
Cook better food. So
Very cool. And then that's for the food truck side. So in terms of, like, let's say I'm the guy who's wanting that, chicken taco or something. How do I, go and check out Truckly, or how do I go and see where my, star food trucks, how do I factor in?
same app. It's
Okay.
all going to be in one. So you could download it from the iTunes store just as easily, or Android as well.
Android.
Yep.
Yep.
And then just open it. It'll check where you're at, where the trucks are at,
Very
just
cool.
like that.
Not bad at all. And then in terms of, like, you guys have probably gotten this quite a bit. Like, are you concerned with the amount of food trucks and your sort of market size and, customer base and that type of thing?
Not too much.
Okay.
We really feel that the value we can bring will drive us enough customers to take it on to the next vertical.
Very cool.
We really want to focus on food trucks just because we like the scene, like what's going on, the food that's out there being created, and it's just great. So
Yeah.
why not harness that and start going forward?
Very cool. I want to see you guys on that, Food Network next American food truck race thing. So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
very
we-
cool. And then in terms of, like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Oh, in terms of, I guess you guys are in an incubator in Arkansas right now, right?
Right.
So how did that sort of come to be? Like, in terms of, I always ask most startups this question, like, how has the incubator helped you? Because for some of them, like, you hear from Y Combinator a lot, like, yeah, great, we get the money, everything, but it's more like hype, at least for Y Combinator, and they want more help, at least, actual help. But, what's your experience been like?
So far, the biggest thing we've noticed is that a lot of the people down here are either ex-Walmarters or companies that use Walmart as a direct partner.
Okay.
So they have a tremendous amount of experience in logistics.
Okay.
And that has been great because they understand how to make something do either location or time management or routing really, really well.
Okay, cool.
And because the incubator we're in is called the ARC Challenge, and they're focused on retail, transportation, and food,
okay,
of which we fit in all three.
Yeah.
So their mentors that are around know their stuff pretty well. So they've been able to help us kind of make sure that we are on the right track with being able to both track and make optimized routes for the food trucks as well. So
okay. Oh, you're going to make routes and such too, like you're actually going to map them through like a territory, or
that's one of the higher end features that we are working on.
Right.
Okay. Very cool. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's always nice to catch you on that little peg there. But
it's gonna be pretty robust when we get done with it.
I look forward to seeing it. And great design too, I got to say. And I see you got the T-shirt on there too. But yeah, love the design, and cool. Your designer is really doing a phenomenal job. So, but Matt, in terms of your side, let's get you talking here. We have you're the developer. You obviously are you doing the whole platform by yourself, or is Derek chiming in here and there? And
Derek's chiming in here and there. He's doing a lot of some of the front end stuff, especially on the interface. And then I'm
the back end dude.
Yeah, doing the back end and doing the mobile apps, so Android and iOS.
And then in terms of how hard would you say it is to develop something at least that robust, or is it taking you guys months at a time, or are you speeding through it pretty well, or what has been your development challenge, I guess? Or
we're speeding through it pretty well. So we've got kind of an API back tier that's majorly in place.
Okay.
But we're kind of running into the same challenges anyone would developing for the different mobile stacks. That they're just different. The way they do things, the way the views are set up, that has its own challenges. But you just have to kind of work through them and get it figured out to get the experience right.
Very cool. And then is it just you two right now, or aside from the designer? Or?
It'd be the three of us, yeah. Okay. Matt and I and our designer Rebecca.
Very cool. And then how did you guys, I guess, come to be?
Yeah. You mean as a team?
Yeah. How'd everybody meet each other? It's always kind of neat to.
It's definitely an interesting story. I was down in Branson running a hotel, doing their tech side, and then I went up to Kansas City for a startup weekend, and then one of our friends, Tim, pitched a really great idea that we built into a company as well. And Matt was on the team as a developer, and so we've been working around. We've built different tools for different businesses here and there. Run a few projects for QR code management.
Yep, that's one of them.
Yeah, so I mean, we've done a few projects together like that, and we went out to San Francisco for TwilioCon.
Very cool.
That's great people, and we're walking around, saw a food truck, and it drove right past us. We wanted to find it, but couldn't. So that's where the genesis of the idea came. Then we went to another startup weekend to help some people out, and we built the prototype. And then Rebecca was there, and she was offering free logo design services. So we took her up on it. She made an awesome logo, and the rest is history. We've gotten enough traction to get down into the incubator and start working on it full time.
Very cool. And then I guess in your sort of entrepreneurial experience, you guys seem to have quite a lot of that. What would you say are tips or suggestions for other startups or different people trying to get their thing? I mean, sounds like you guys are really a big fan of Startup Weekend and what they're doing. And
yeah,
what are your I guess words of wisdom? So.
My favorite thing to say is validate your market, and if someone will pay for it, you're probably in a good spot. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that build something that doesn't have, that people won't pay for, that it's a neat to have.
Yeah.
But if you make it a nice to have and actually make someone else more money, and they're willing to pay you before you even start building it, that's always a good thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, validation. Just validate the hell out of it.
What about you, Matt?
After taking those necessary steps, validate it. Always be thinking about it and taking steps to move it forward every day. So an idea is only an idea, but if you can execute a little bit on it every day, you're leaps ahead of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And then how did you guys validate Truckily, if you don't mind me asking? Just going around to your local food truck sort of scene and just questionnaires and different things like that? Or?
Yeah, we went to every single event, had our nice little T-shirts on, talked to people. What's your pain? Like, how are you having problems with anything tech related? And the big thing came down to updating social networks, making sure people know where we're at. How do we get customers out there?
Just simple problems, I guess, right?
Simple stuff. So we just kind of wrote them all down and said, how can we make these all work together, literally with the touch of a button? Like, how can we do that? And that's really what Truckily is all about, is solving that problem.
One touch, Let them get cooking instead of tweeting.
I mean, they're already mechanics and cooks and marketers, and we're just trying to, if we can help take a little piece of that time sink out of there, that provides some real value to those guys.
Very cool. And I guess my last sort of question is, with those thousands of food trucks in the States and beyond, what's your, I guess, marketing plan to reach those guys? I mean, you can see, like, if it's in Kansas City or St. Louis or somewhere, and they're like, you get your first base to start using it. But how are you going to reach the guys in New York, Chicago, DC, and really spread it around?
The good thing about that is that most of the trucks are already signed on to either Twitter or Facebook.
Okay.
So we can find them and we can reach them directly through that. Cool. That saves us some time, but it doesn't actually put people onto the platform.
Yeah.
The real acquisition thing is a little bit of a secret for right now. I'll let you know that it involves users helping us kind of negotiate their food trucks to get on the platform.
Okay. I can understand that. That's smart. So
that, and we're coming up with a great great launch competition, and it literally involves launching. So stay tuned to that. It'll be pretty fun.
Okay. You guys gonna have your little own food truck race?
Yes, but the end result is space. So it's our little space race. We'll call it that.
Okay. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Matt seems to know what he's doing there. So, but very cool, guys. So thank you very much. I wish you guys the best of luck. And I mean, again, really, it's simple, but just sort of like, it just pings you, right? Like, it's like, that's something that I personally, I'd use it. I mean, it's just, I really hope the food trucks sort of go in and lovingly adapt it, because it does seem like, even with a small market base, it's just like, wow, that's like, it's one of those ideas where you just, simple but executed well can go forever. So
yeah,
very cool. Have a good one.
Exclusively for them, so it's
yeah. And then when you have your customers that focus in mind, like there's no stopping you. So
cool. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, guys. See you.